Yeah, so you know the space station in Helldivers 2? It's actually an orbital super weapon, and it's also a gigastructure. Let me explain all of this because it is so sick. So this is the Helldivers system, as I believe it's pronounced, not Gullivari, whatever the hell I said before. Look at this beautiful wonder outside the window. So this is the DSS, the space station, which is under construction. So that isn't anywhere near its complete and final sort of state. What the hell? But if you fly to this system or to this planet, you can actually straight up come and have a look at it. So I think that's pretty cool. And yeah, you can see how massive this is. Because look at the super destroyers around the place. They're nowhere near the size of this thing. And it looks like actually in the middle, there's some sort of like docking boom for the super destroyers possibly to sort of connect to. Unless that super destroyer has literally crashed into the space station, which would be quite embarrassing. There's also something else I want to show you in here before we go over what Arrowhead have actually said about the station. Because I know a lot of people have been thinking, is this station like, I don't know, like a clan or community hub? But as I said at the top of the video, it's a super weapon, and I'll explain that to you in a second. But yeah, we've got this thing here. So this is the Bureau, and it's now got a picture of the space station under construction. So I presume this is going to be the probably the interface as to where we actually interact with the station. Now, we believe the station will be moved around systems on some sort of voting system, I guess, that the Helldivers are going to use. Now, of course, this does beg the question, will it ever be seen on the bot front? Probably no. It'll always be on the bug front. Anyway, we've got a lot to cover in this video, so we're going to break down the space station. We're also going to break down some stealth nerfs that Arrowhead have gone over as well. And yeah, let's get stuck into it. This is direct from the Ministry of Truth. And this is what they say about the space station and, of course, the new major order surrounding the construction of the DSS. So this is the major order. The Democracy Space Station has entered the first of 4 construction phases. Its inspiring grey-toned hull can already be seen in the orbit of Gullivari, or Gullivari. I'm always going to get this pronounced wrong because it's messing with my head. So, like I said, if you go to the system, you can see it. Once complete, the DSS will be a new strategic level weapon. It will be a super weapon. It will wield powerful Helldiver-directed weaponry to aid in the liberation of its orbited planet. Through a cutting-edge voting system, the Helldivers will determine where to deploy the DSS and when to use its capabilities. Reaching the next stage of DSS development demands significant scientific breakthroughs. The completed station will be an order of magnitude larger than a super destroyer, beyond the capacity of our current Alcubierre warp drives to transport without astronomical E710 consumption. The Helldivers are ordered to clear and hold Turing to allow the Ministry of Science to establish a new state-of-the-art xenoentomology center. The center will prototype and develop a new high-efficiency Alcubierre drive capable of effectively transporting gigastructures like the DSS. Right then, so there's a ton, and I mean a ton, to break down here, because this is a gigastructure for a start, which just sounds insane. And if you play Stellaris, you'll know what gigastructures are. This isn't quite on the scale of gigastructures in Stellaris, but whatever. So, yeah, this implies there'll be more massive structures in the game in the future, which I think is really cool. And what I really like about this is it's an evolution of the major order system. It's not just go here, kill bots, go here, kill bugs. It is go here and just hold a planet and go here and kill bugs, I guess. But it is working towards like a major story beat, and it's really cool to see. And there's something new in the game. So I think this is, if they can keep this going, I think this will be incredible. But anyway, yeah, more gigastructures I think will be insane for major orders. However, the takeaway from this is the station itself is not a social hub, not at the moment anyway, or at least it won't be when it comes online. But it will be a stratagem that you'll be able to use when you take part in an operation on the planet it is orbiting. So it won't be the sector, it will just be the planet that it is orbiting. Now what this will be, it's probably going to be a Death Star laser, let's be honest, right? If it's not a Death Star laser, probably not going to explode the planet, but maybe on the scale of the one that isn't charged as much from Rogue One, which still is massively powerful and would just blow away an entire continent. So possibly, I reckon that's what we're going to see. The other thing as well is we've got 4 stages of construction. So this is the first stage. There's going to be 3 other stages. They're obviously going to be major orders, and it's going to be interesting to see the back and forth and see what Joel does and what they do with the major story with all of that. Because we have had a warning that the automatons are getting together for an attack. So we don't know what's going to go on with that, but maybe there'll be new automaton units or something disgusting like that for us to take on, which will be awesome. And the final thing is a Helldiver voting system. Now, I'm pretty sure this is what the Bureau bit is about in the Super Destroyer, which I showed you a bit earlier on in the video. But basically, yeah, I think it's going to be a voting system, and you're going to get to have a vote to say where you want the space station to go. And once the space station is fully built, it's going to go over there and then provide its orbital super weapon to just absolutely demolish said planet. I think it's going to be insane. I've really enjoyed this. It's so good. But yeah, that's what the space station is at the moment. It could develop into a social hub. It could develop into a clan system in the future. But I think to begin with, it's just going to be a new stratagem we can use. It's going to be awesome. Now, Arrowhead have actually addressed the stealth nerfs and buffs that were in the last patch. Now, obviously, hardcore, super hardcore players work out straight away if something is stronger or weaker than it should be, according to what the patch notes are saying. Maybe the patch notes don't even address it, or maybe the patch notes are inaccurate. We know this is Arrowhead, and they're still trying to find their feet with this whole live service game thing, and they make mistakes a lot. They add things to patch notes that don't necessarily make it to the game, or they take things out of the patch notes that happen to be in the game. It's a bit of a situation. But anyway, this has been addressed by one of the community managers, I should say, over on Discord. So this is what we have got at the moment. So he says this is from Twinbeard. Hey Divers, regarding the frequently asked questions about intended changes or stealth nerfs in the latest patch, my esteemed colleague, Omniveagle, I think that's how you pronounce that, and I dug around a little and managed to find some more info on this. Note, some of the text below are from our developers. So, he goes on to say this. The heavy machine gun angle and durable damage nerf is 50 to 35. This one was intentional, but wasn't in the patch notes. So again, yeah, it was nerfed, but it wasn't in the patch notes. So, it's a failure to kind of like note down, well, I guess, produce patch notes, right? They're notes of patches, and they're not fully... I guess like complete, which is like super annoying. But anyway, so moving on to the railgun. Now the AP bonus was removed from overcharging. It no longer climbs to AP 7 at 90% charge. He says this was intentional, and if so, we forgot to add it to the patch notes. The reasoning behind this was not to make the railgun too good versus tanks and factory striders. However, armor on tanks' fronts getting changed didn't jam with that change. We still didn't want the railgun to bounce off front armor, so maybe we need to take a look at this. So interesting. Anti-tank mines, damage has been reduced from 1,000 to 800. Explosion radius increased. Stagger force increased from 30 to 50. Demolition force increased from 30 to 40. And he says this was intended, but we just didn't put it in the patch notes. The laser cannon does not cool down faster, despite what it is stated in the patch notes. This was something we were going to do at first, but later removed and simply missed addressing it in the patch notes. So that kind of note under the laser cannon, I think, sort of sums up sort of the way Arrowhead approach these patch notes. Now, I've read a lot of patch notes in my time, and these ones are always the most, like, I hate to say it, but the most, like, amateur. A lot of stuff is missing, things not included, and yeah. And this is kind of like just an admission of that. It's like, yeah, well, it was something we were doing at first, but then we later removed it, and then we simply missed addressing it in the patch notes. So, they'll probably get better at this over time, but it does beg the question, doesn't it? You can't always really take their patch notes at face value. They could say one thing, and you really need to go and extensively test it to see if that's even true. It's mental. The guard dog rover sets target on fire faster. That was intended, but yeah, that's a good change. We like that. Fire dot damage, durable damage increased from 25 to 50. And he says, yep, you guessed it, intentional as well as missing from the patch notes. We will look at this to see if this should be kept as is or not. It did make the incendiary breaker and the cookout better as well, which also we know are two appreciated weapons. So I'm fine with that. I think that's cool. Hellpod impact damage. So this is increased from 200 to 2,500. Doesn't affect the firebomb Hellpods though. This is intentional and part of the damage scaling that we mentioned in the patch notes. We didn't convey this very clearly, but because we increased heavy enemies' health, we needed to increase the Hellpod damage so it would still be able to kill them. For the fire Hellpod, we missed increasing the damage of that one. So there you go, guys. That's covering the, the stealth nerfs and changes. So we should be pretty much aware now of all of the stuff that's in the game, and we're just waiting for the next balance patch, which probably will come next week, maybe. We'll have to wait and see for that one. There is one last thing I do want to talk about, because I've been really enjoying the machine gun. You can see in the footage that I've been running in the background of this video, it's a super Helldive mission against the bugs. Yeah, obviously you're not going to take out heavily armored enemies with the machine gun, but this is literally the first stratagem you get in the game. Now, pairing it with the ammo backpack is obviously a great combination, It's so good. This is so good. I mean, it isn't the answer to everything, but it's really, really good. And this is what I'm liking about the balance of the game so far, or at least at the moment. I can just take almost whatever I like to a mission and still get away with it, and I really like that. You don't always have to take meta weapons. In fact, yeah, you can argue, all right, the recoilless rifle is definitely the meta weapon at the high levels of the game now, because it just kills hulks, tanks, well, it destroys factory striders as well if you hit them in the eye. It just kills pretty much everything with one shot. It's totally insane. Annihilates chargers. Bile Titans just get destroyed, shoot them in the head. It's really, really strong. So you do generally see that. But you don't always have to take it, and there are ways around it. And I'm actually really appreciating that at the moment. So what I'd like you guys to do in the comments is let me know what weapons you're using that might be seen as maybe not meta or popular weapons, but actually are quite good. And I think the machine gun is definitely one of them. The only downside to it is you have to stand still to reload it. But hey, that's fine, and I think I can live with that. All right, guys, thanks for watching the video. I've been Stylosa. If you enjoyed that, let me know what you think about all of this in the comments below, as I say, and I'll catch you lovely lot on the next video. See you soon.